Being an adult is expensive, and frankly, I can't afford it. So, I'm looking for a sugar daddy. That seems to work for most people my age. And you know what they say, if you can't beat them, join them. But no, in all reality, besides the jokes, people are struggling with the current day economy right now. And it only seems to be getting worse. So, let's talk about that. And if you personally feel like you relate with anything discussed in today's video, feel free to like, comment your thoughts, opinions below, and subscribe to see my daily uploads around here discussing topics just like this. And I really want to start this video off by giving a huge shout out to my supporters over here, my Patreon supporters, my channel memberships, and everybody just rocks the content. You can check out the links to all that stuff down below in the description. I definitely want to give a special shout out to the few people that do the bonus donations to my PayPal, my Venmo, and my Cashapp. You can also catch those links down below in the description, and those are really above and beyond. It will still always blow my mind that there are actually people out there that genuinely rock my content and want to see me thrive. So I definitely appreciate that, and that really shows me that what I'm doing over here is really going a long way. So let's continue. Now, let's begin.
Nowadays, $20 is worth this. A 10-piece bucket combo. So, I'm about to spend an hour of my life to get a 10-piece bucket combo. Yo, I don't know. I don't know what America is doing, yo.
Now, I'm not really sure if you guys are really understanding what the idea, the concept that he's trying to grasp here. 1 hour of his time, he's making about $20 an hour. He's pretty much trading 1 hour of his time for a bucket of chicken. That's how much 1 hour of his time is worth to the average employer. Now, I've covered on my last few videos about how your hourly rate or how much you get paid is really just how much the company finds you worthy as an investment, how much they actually feel worthy to give you, without having to either replace you or negotiate a better, a better wage agreement. Now, I've done this in different TikToks before where I've actually, compared how much you make per hour in a decent rate in different locations to different items. And when you put it like that, it makes your time seem almost invaluable at all. And that's the mindset that they really want to plant in you, is that you're really worthless and you're pretty much stuck working these jobs because you can't really get paid for more because you're not worth anymore.
And like, everybody's gonna feel this, bro. From the only person that's probably not gonna really feel it is the billionaires out there. Real talk. But it's just, I don't know, man. It's sad, and I feel like they really want to put the planet. They want to put the people into like a deep like depression, because they want everybody to stress over finances, bro. It's crazy.
I think it's time we start collectively running into grocery stores, clearing the shelves, and taking it all. I mean, like...
Okay, now, insane. You guys have heard the one gorilla versus 100 men? 100 men versus one gorilla? Sorry, I can't talk today. I still have to make videos either way. 100 men versus one gorilla. How about 100 men versus a grocery store with about 3 employees, because they always like to keep their employees down because then they don't have to pay so much. I mean, how many times you walk in the stores and you're like, damn, there's really no one working here. I could really just walk out with this right now if I wanted to. I'm not going to, because I'm not that kind of person. I have morals. I wasn't raised like that. And also, I mean, I come here all the time, so I'm not trying to, ban myself from one of my local stores for a quick $5 come up. But at the same time, I mean, it really wouldn't be that hard for the majority of people to just take over some of these stores. Now, I'm not saying that's anywhere near logical, reasonable, or something that I'm encouraging anybody to do, but it's like, at the same time, the higher prices go, I mean, people are just going to start stealing eventually, right? I mean, these food shelves can only really be helping so many people.
100 people going in, taking every single cart, going in a single file line, and just clearing the fucking shelves. Because every grocery store, at least here in California and inner cities, is only going to have one person at that front door, and they're not going to stop all of you.
The way he put it is so funny. I was imagining people just running in and just raiding the store, but he's talking about people doing like an orderly line protest where they just make it very clear what they're doing. We're coming in, not paying. We're not going to destroy anything. We're just taking the groceries and leaving. And there's too many of us for you to stop. That sounds like an insane revolution, but I could see it happening, in the future.
They're not going to know what to do. The only thing they're going to be able to do is call the cops. And by the time the cops get there, all the food's going to be gone. Or it's going to be left in a parking lot to spoil, and then the company's going to hurt. Or homeless people will be able to come and just grab those carts and anything they can while they're trying to bring them all back in. This is how you take over corporations. This is how you hurt them. You need to stand in solidarity and realize we're at a breaking point when food becomes too expensive because of tariffs, and this is a lawless country now because the president is just ignoring the Supreme Court, you have every single fucking right to take that food if you need it. And if you're somebody that sees somebody taking food in a grocery store, no, you fucking didn't. Shut your goddamn mouth and mind your own fucking business.
It's the first of the month.
I'm not laughing at him because he's 100% justified. Even when I was working at stores, back when I used to work at the deli, this is a confession. Homeless people, because I work in a city, used to come in and ask for samples. They weren't asking for samples because they were going to buy stuff. I was actually told by my managers, don't give samples out unless unless you really assume they're going to buy stuff. I know these people can afford to buy stuff. It's like $10 for a pound for some of these meats, and some of these different stores. But at the same time, I don't care. I'm gonna let them get a little quarter pound of this for a sample because I don't care. That's probably all they're eating all day. Maybe they haven't eaten 2 days. You can tell they haven't showered in a while. You have to have some empathy for your fellow, human. I mean, humanity has to really work together to continue to survive and strive and thrive. So, I'm not saying stealing is the way, but I do actually see eventually in the future more populations of employees protesting against their companies and their managements for higher pay wages. I mean, we've seen that happen in the past, and really, I don't think anything's really going to get done unless people just decide to stop working, and basically the company will stop making any sort of profits, and then the shareholders, the people who actually make the profits that don't actually ever visit these places, will have to actually care a little bit more because it's going to actually hurt their pockets. Nobody really cares till it starts hurting the pockets, and once it starts hurting the pockets of the people that actually make the majority of the big bucks, then they start actually listening to the people down below.
I just paid my rent, and when I opened my tenant app, I noticed that they added a function that basically lets you pay your rent in multiple payments, so you can do it in between 2 to 4 payments. Good idea in theory, but I really was like, America will do anything other than just like making the cost of living affordable. Like
Damn
they're like,
right.
no, go ahead and pay for your housing in multiple payments. We're gonna do that. We're not gonna make housing affordable. We're gonna get you on a payment plan. And I'm like, ugh.
My 66-year-old father.
Okay, think about that. That was the most Americanized solution I could ever think of. Instead of actually help out the tenants, maybe do some like relief, maybe give a lot of people like maybe 1 month off so they can just get their shit together and catch up on some other bills to actually get in order and be able to pay rent on time from now on. Nope, we're just gonna give you payments now. You can just get farther behind. If you can't afford rent now, well now next first you're gonna have a payment and a quarter, and after that you're gonna have a payment and a half. And eventually you're gonna be so far behind on rent like a credit card bill. I can imagine they're probably going to tack interest on this if you don't pay it back in a certain amount of time. Oh my gosh, what an Americanized way to solve a problem.
Who bought my childhood home for $60,000 in 1991 literally told me to my face that if he made $60,000 a year that he could not make it on his own, and I started laughing and I was like, Dad, your mortgage is legitimately half of just my rent. He's, yeah, but you got like groceries and other bills. And I'm like, yeah. He's like,
how do you think everybody else is doing it, boomer? I'm just joking. A lot of the old folks are experiencing the exact same struggles of the economy, the inflation, the rising cost of living, but a lot of the young folks are. So I'm not saying everybody's in the same boat, but $60,000 a year, that's about average, I think, in the majority of the current locations around the U.S. at least. And most people make about 30 to 40 grand a year, at least that I know, that like in my real life. So it's just insane to think how some people don't think you can live. I've heard many videos saying there's no way I could live under $100,000 a year. Buddy, your cost of living is way too high. You have to really, figure it out. Unless you live in a certain place like New York or Los Angeles where they take over half of your earnings and taxes anyway. I mean, at this point, what are you doing?
Wait till you get MSD. And I was like, you mean sewage? I pay for my sewage. He goes, oh. I'm like, what? Like, you're not living in the same reality as me. They're not. My gabbers were flaccid. I was like, how do you think I feel? How do you think I've been doing, Dad? I'm not even making $60,000 a year anymore.
That's a good year.
Yeah, it's hard out here, dude. Welcome. And he's about to retire, so that's the money that he's going to make for doing nothing.
We brought strangers.
I have so many people in my family that actually think they're going to be able to retire. I have absolutely no idea what they're thinking, and they're going to face a sad, sad reality. Their fate is not sealed for them because people don't think about it. Honestly, I don't expect to ever retire. I'm not going to lie to myself and just hope for an imaginary dream that might not even actually happen. Honestly, if I even lived to retirement age, that's a blessing in itself. But this video is actually kind of interesting. I saw it online. I really thought I would capture it and share it here with you folks. It's a little study they did about the game Monopoly. You know, it's pretty much a board game. If you guys have ever heard of it, it's one of the biggest ones. There's so many different versions of it and variants of it, but the original game Monopoly is basically just like a version. It's just it's a representation. That's the word. A representation of the current day economy in America, at least, like a capitalistic system, and is actually pretty much how it works in modern day. Now, maybe you could debate that. There's actually been a different board game that I will throw up on here. I can't think of the name of it, but I can definitely find it when I Google it after the recording this video when I'm doing my editing. This actually got banned. This is actually much more realistic to the current day system, and that's what's been around for years. They actually banned this game because it's too realistic. You can actually, the people who are on welfare and who are using the system are way better off than people who are entrepreneurs and try to be the American dream, which actually seems to be the average reality for a lot of folks. But anyway, let's continue talking about this game, Monopoly, and what they found out. They determined how your mindset changes depending on when you have a lot of wealth versus people who don't really have any wealth, and especially people who start off more wealthy than people who do not have anything at all.
Better than others.
And now imagine people who were born as Nepo babies, this whole nepotism concept. People are born into extreme wealth and they feel as if they deserve that position, when in reality, none of us get to choose where we're born, which positions we're in, which economy class we were born into and get to, survive in and grow up in. And to be in real, honest reality, that was a study they did hundreds of times over. They did many different games, and in all realities, in every game, every single player that started off better than the other, purely based off of luck, felt as if they deserved that advantage. Now, putting that into modern day reality, just talking about a board game Monopoly based off of the reality of the system we live in the modern day U.S. Now that's debatable. You can comment below if you debate that's still this fair game, but that's been around for some time now. Might have changed, but just to give a example there, so he's been around for it's been kind of old. It's been around for quite a while, but definitely shows some sort of comparison to the reality of things and the complete disperse of wealth in America, and how many have none while few have everything. Now, either way, I'd love to hear all your guys' thoughts and opinions down below in the comments. That's always really interesting for me to hear your guys' different perspectives. And I really do want to give a huge shout out to everybody who rocks the content, my Patreon supporters, my channel memberships, everybody who rocks the content. Again, all those links down below in the description are some of the best ways to support me, my channel, and for me to continue this whole movement we have going on over here, or whatever you want to call it, I guess. Either way, I appreciate you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.